Hi, my name is Trevor Wine, and today I am going to discuss present value and annual worth. So let's start off with some definitions. A cash flow diagram shows the value of future money. Upward arrows resemble gains or profit, whereas downward arrows indicate an expense or cost. The present value refers to a future amount of money that has been discounted to reflect its current value, as if it existed today. The annual worth refers to a cost per year of owning and operating an asset over its entire lifetime. So let's get to the problem. In our problem statement, we are given a cash flow chart. In year 0, there's an expense of $1,100. Year 1, an expense of $400. And year 2 through 4, there's a capital gain of $1,000. If we are given an interest rate or discount rate, what is the annual worth of this project? A, $450, B, $361, C, $320, or D, $226. To solve this problem, we need to get all of the future values into present values. And once we do that, there will be a formula that gives us our annual worth. So let's start by getting a cash flow diagram. Here's a cash flow diagram, and if you recall in year 0, the $1,100 expense, in year 1, the $400 expense, they are represented by downward arrows. In year 2 through 4, the $1,000 gains are represented by positive arrows. This cash flow diagram helps us bring these values into correct present values. So we have formulas to do just that. So to bring a future value into a present value, we have this formula. And once we have this present value, we have a formula that we can use the present value to solve for an annual worth. Below are the definitions of the variables, where P is the present worth, F is the future worth, A is a uniform amount per period, I is the discount rate, and N, in our case, is the expected life of an asset. So let's get started finding the present value. Here's that formula. It shows up again. If we plug in our values, we can see that in year 0, we have that $1,100 expense, year 1, that $400 expense, in year 2 through 4, that $1,000 profit. As you can see, the expenses are represented by negative signs, and the profits are expressed with positive signs. So if you sum up those values, you should come up with negative $1,100, negative $357.14, a positive $797.19, $711.78, and finally, a positive $635.52. When I sum up all of those values, I come up with a total present value of $687.35. Now that we have the present value, we can calculate the annual worth. What we are given, or we have solved for, was the present value of $687.35, the discount rate, 12%, and time, 4 years. So if you recall that formula from a few slides ago, here it is again. A is the annual worth, P is the present value, I is the discount rate, and N is the number of years. If you plug in your variables, as you see here, we can come up with an annual worth of $226.30. So if you recall the second slide, the choice was D. $226 would be the closest answer to solving this problem. There's also another way we can solve an annual worth, or any kind of problem, is through the tables given in the FE reference guide. So we are looking for the annual worth. We weren't necessarily given P, but given the cash flow diagram, we were able to solve for P. So to speed things up, we know we're looking for A/P, which represents we are looking for a given P, and our N, number of years, is 4. So if you go down the grid, you would see that that factor for a given P with 4 years is 0.3292. How this simplifies things is you can take this factor and just multiply your present value. When doing so, you would multiply $687.35 by 0.3292. You come up with a very slightly different answer of $226.28. But nonetheless, that answer resembles the answer D, the same as the previous slide. Thank you for watching my video on annual worth.